call this meeting to order, and let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everyone had the opportunity to go over the minutes of our May 8th meeting so we can approve them this evening? They were sent in an email.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Do we have any mail? Here's second was Mike.
No, it's Jim.
Oh, was it Jim? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. County Attorney?
I don't have anything for you yet. Well, actually, I do briefly. So I'm guessing most of you are aware the city council last night passed a tax. That's not on the agenda for tonight. I would ask you to start maybe asking some questions about that, kind of get that something you're thinking about. And at some point in time, we will have to have a public hearing and then have a vote upon that ourselves.
So as tonight, do we need to put that on the next agenda?
I would put that on the next agenda, not the public hearing necessarily, but
right.
the discussion.
The discussion on the
set for public hearing.
It's not due to start January 1st, is
That's correct, but you want to get the wheels in motion because there's a lot of
Okay.
things.
All right.
Okay.
But we have time.
So are you going to get all the information for us? How do you want
Yeah, I
us
think
to-
Jane actually has most of it. I mean,
Okay.
if you have any issues, it probably might be beneficial to listen to some of the, if you could go back and watch the council meeting from last night, there was a lot of good discussion.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
They passed it unanimously, just in case anybody's unaware.
Okay.
Which
Thank you.
means we basically rubber stamp it, it can't hold it up.
It is my understanding of the law that even if you guys were to vote against it, it's just a procedural vote at that point in time, and the tax actually passes. Correct.
I think it's 59%, isn't it? 59 city and only 41.
57-43.
57-43, yeah.
At this public hearing, will the city council be sitting here also?
No, they won't need to be
It's just the
here.
county council?
Correct. They held a public hearing last night.
And what we do don't make any difference. It's passed.
It's passed.
But we gotta have a public hearing anyway.
You've got to do it.
Yeah.
Politics?
Politics. Government policy.
Okay, so we will put that on
We
the
got that straightened
agenda
out.
for our next meeting. Are we having a meeting in July? We do, don't we?
Yes.
Okay, so in July, then we will put that on the agenda for discussion.
Well, you're going to put it on the agenda the second meeting of June, correct?
The council only meets once a month.
Oh, that's right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I apologize.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just the
okay.
commissioners. No, you're okay. Okay, yeah. So
So it'll be
Well, let me
the,
ask
We
you
could
this.
schedule one if you thought it was necessary, Jeff.
it might make sense. I forgot about it being a month. It might make sense to go ahead and set it for a public hearing in July.
Could the public hearing
Just
be
because
here, or
you're-
we're gonna have it outside here?
No, you do it here. You can do it here.
Just have a public hearing here. We're gonna have a public
I certainly don't want to guess what an audience will be. My assumption is there were a lot of first responders there last night. My guess is you won't have that same vibe here just because of the
But we could have it here
procedure
as part of
nature.
the meeting in July or August.
I would encourage you to have the public hearing in July.
in July.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
sorry, I apologize. I kept thinking
That's
we were
okay.
on the same schedule as commissioners, and that's on me.
So
And the
if we,
public hearing can happen at the same time
Yes.
we have our normal meeting.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely,
yes.
absolutely. And you don't even have to make the decision at the public hearing. You just need to have a public hearing before you make a decision.
Yeah. Well, hard to see it's not gonna make any difference anyway. Okay.
but with this since we have not discussed it, should we have another meeting in June at some point before a public hearing? Or
No.
just do it all the
You'll
same
discuss
night?
it at the public
You
hearing.
can discuss it at the public
Okay.
hearing, yeah.
Okay,
And anybody can reach out to me, certainly with any questions. I know Jane has a lot of knowledge on the subject. If anybody wants to have a meeting with any of the city council members, I'd be happy to arrange that. I mean, any discussions you want to have.
okay. Thank you.
So are we gonna have our public hearing July the 2nd, along
I
with our
would-
regular July
Jane,
meeting?
Do
It'll
you
be on
think
the
that's how we
agenda.
should do it,
That's how I would,
moving
that's how I would
forward?
advise you to do it.
Okay,
we just do it at the end of our regular meeting. That'd be a time to put
A lot of times I encourage you to do the public hearing at the beginning of it, just in
Okay.
case there are people here that don't sit through the whole meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Put it first on the agenda. Okay. Do we need to, we don't need to make a motion to approve that or anything, do
You
we?
need to make a motion to have a public hearing.
Okay,
in
so,
July, yeah.
we need to make a motion for the public hearing to be held on July 2nd at our initial, July meeting for county council.
So
Yes.
moved.
Okay,
Second.
Mike and Bob second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. Okay, reports, committee reports.
Madam President. Councilman Patterson, I made a switch as far as our responsibilities go. I'm gonna go to 911, we talked about this on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to 911, I don't know what I was on, to get wastewater. I'm kidding.
Thanks.
I could have it too, I really don't know what I was
He's
on.
moving to 911, and Tim is moving to, what will you be going to?
I don't know.
What were you on? Do we have that?
Hang on, yeah, I can look it up.
Okay.
I haven't been contacted anybody since the first of the year. If I have, I've ignored the email intentionally.
Well, Tim's gotta be up on the committee someplace.
Thanks, Bob.
You just can't sit there and not do anything. Come on now,
Okay,
buddy.
Mike was on the tax abatement advisory
That's what I
committee.
thought.
Tax
Well,
abatement.
that's kind of a workaround anyways.
That makes sense. Do you hear that, Tim?
What's that?
You're gonna be on the tax abatement committee.
Thanks.
That probably
Making
makes
more
sense.
people happier by the day.
That's what we're about?
I know.
Jane, who's on the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission from council?
Tim,
Tim,
I thought there was more than one.
I'm on it, but I'm the
Scott.
commissioner's
I was
representative.
gonna say, yeah, the council's representative is Tim, just one.
But
Council has
Scott
one.
is also
Commissioners
Some
has
commissioners.
one. Yeah, and then there's like 4 or 5 others.
I've been a commissioner's rep since 2016 before I joined council.
Okay. So Mike and Tim has reversed. So Mike is 911 now, and Tim is tax abatement. Do we need to make a motion to accept that, or are we okay?
Might as well.
Okay, let's make a motion to accept the change in their committees.
I guess.
Did you second?
I second him in the motion.
Okay, Mike first. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Commissioners representative. Mr. Strong.
Yeah. Good evening, council. Good to see everybody. We didn't have a real long meeting today, but we did. The sheriff last month came recommending we adopt a peddler's ordinance as such in the county due to some incidents out in the county. So today we had a public hearing on the matter and wound up actually adopting an ordinance. And we're going to be new to this. I don't expect a lot of business with it, but so you be forewarned, Bob. The next time somebody tells you to go peddle your peppers, you've got to get a permit from us first.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. So, but that's something that we've never done. But we'll hopefully the sheriff will take care of everything for us on that, and it'll be smooth sailing.
Is there a cost to it?
Yes, there's 2 different types of fees. A $35 fee for is that the transit?
That's for a 3-day. That would be somebody like setting up a stand for 3 days, like an extended weekend type thing. And then there's a year fee for somebody that goes door to door, that type of thing.
How's that affect the farmer's market?
It won't impact the
Yes.
farmer's market because it's not, well, one, I think farmer's market's in city limits. And two, that's, you're paying a booth fee for that spot. That's a different thing.
Okay.
So this is county, this is.
Yeah, and
not
this doesn't,
city.
and it was asked earlier, yeah, this is just for the county, and this doesn't impact, somebody was asking, you know, if people come to your house because you've invited them to, you know, you buy something that's, I mean, the pizza guy's not gonna have to get a fee or anything like that, right? So.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. We approved two 144 requests today. One for the hire of Kelly Reed in the assessor's office, and one for Deanne Revley at Community Corrections. And we also approved the bid contract for our this year's Community Crossings project with, now here I go, showing my age again. Was that
Dave
Dave
O'Meara.
O'Meara?
Yeah.
The Dave O'Meara Company to do this year's Community Crossings projects. We also approved contract with Big B to handle waste removal at the animal shelter and the jail. And that's pretty much it.
I have a question for you. Do we have an ordinance or anything in place for Airbnbs? You know, they're an inn, they're a hospitality thing. They're generating revenue. They're locating themselves in residential neighborhoods. The reason I ask this is because I was approached by one of my constituents in District 1 who's had a lot of noise issues, a lot of complaints with this particular property. And I think there's some health inspection needs, there's building inspection needs, to make sure things are up to par. And there's a hospitality tax, I think, that they're abating that, like the Woodridge Inn is paying and other places and fine establishments like the Great Haven and tongue in cheek.
Wouldn't that be something for area planning?
I-
Because they've got their rules on
I'm
those things.
throwing that out there. Just something to talk about.
Yeah.
Is something, do we have anything? Because I said, you know, as a county council, we can't do anything about that. I said it's more probably an area planning issue, but probably needs to be driven by the commissioners.
To the best of my knowledge, Mike, we don't have anything on paper relating to Airbnbs, but I do think, to Bob's point, the APC would be the right place to begin.
And I think we've got something on the books about that.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
We've covered those things.
Bill McDaniel would know, because
Yeah.
he deals with that stuff every day. I do know that Airbnbs are required to collect innkeeper's tax, like any other hoteler is. But I don't know what else.
Well, there's also parking issues too, and we put that down, how many parking spaces required for each kind of
ADA
business.
access, things of that nature. I'm not saying that they're not paying innkeeper's tax, but if nobody knows about it, then, hey, nobody knows about it.
Okay, I'll make a note of that, and I'll touch base with Bill McDaniel on that.
Thank you.
I got some questions for you, Dale, and get a chance there.
Okay.
Went over and toured the jail. Walking in the jail control room, walking around in there, they're cautioning me as to where I step because the floor is rotten. How long's that been that way?
I don't know how long it's taken it really to get to its current condition, but it is pretty rough.
Why haven't we done something about it?
it hasn't been the top item on the agenda.
So it's just neglect? I don't see anything but neglect. I mean, these people are in there caged in this room and the floor's rotten. So nobody, you guys won't do anything about it. So I went to the internet. For a mere $7,000, we can put a whole new floor in there. You guys wouldn't go with the quotes, so I did. They have monitors that don't work. Why? Why are we just letting these monitors just sit there and when these people need them? The padded cell is destroyed. Why? Is it just sitting there destroyed? Can you answer me? Why?
Well, I've had recent discussions with the sheriff about that padded cell.
I'm sure he'd be happy to get it fixed.
Well, sure he would.
Then why don't we fix it?
Okay.
Tim, you're talking about, are you talking about the carpet?
No, I'm talking about the walls.
The walls?
Yes, the
So
padded
the
cell.
wall is concrete.
There's a cell that's padded, and the inmates tear the foam off repeatedly and destroy it. And I don't know how many times the sheriff's department has fixed it, repaired it, and so forth and so on. Ripped the stainless steel bars out of the drain. How they manage to break it off, because typically they go in there with either nothing on or very limited clothing.
Yeah.
So how they do that, I have no idea. If that's strung out on whatever it's written for, I don't know, but that's what Tim was talking about, the pad itself. And they have no place to put these types of inmates that it's designed to keep from hurting themselves. What they do is they tear it apart, so they eat the foam, they do whatever, so that they can get out of there.
It needs to be kept up.
To say something about the padded cell, I have contacted 2 different companies and can't get any phone calls back to fix it. The guys that used to fix it, I think they're out of business now. It's just hard to find somebody that does padded cells. I'm waiting to see the new jail, the new women's facility is supposed to have one. So I haven't came to the commissioners to get that fixed yet. They're aware of it, but I just can't find anybody to do it. So I'm waiting for the new facility, people to put a padded cell in there and see if maybe we can use them.
That'd be good.
But now, you just can't find anybody that
What about
that
your
works on
locks?
Stanley owns that, is controlled that whole system. That's the only source that they have to go through.
But they gotta have locks. They gotta be repaired. Bring me a lock. Bring me a lock. I'll take the lock. I'll go find parts made for it. There's machine shops right here in town that can make parts for the locks. But it gets neglected. One of the showers in there, it's been sawed off, the door frame's been sawed off 6 inches above the ground. An absolute hazard on a slick floor. Why does it stay that way, Dale? How don't you fix it?
I'm not aware of which door you're talking about.
Well, it's there. You need to go look.
Well, thank you for bringing that.
What
to our
about broken
attention.
windows? They got broken windows.
My feeling on the broken windows is we should not use glass. We should always use Lexan.
I don't know what the state or the jail or whatever requires, but they need to be fixed. I've also
How lucky? We've dealt with broken glass for
Longer than broken glass since Frank Jackson was sheriff.
yeah.
It's the original glass lasted for a while, and now for some reason we can't find that type of glass. And our maintenance guys will put it in, and 2 days later, sometimes when they're putting it in, it cracks. It's hard to find jail glass. Again, not a lot of people focus on this kind of stuff, so it's just we're getting it from a local company here, and it's just not working. It just takes a whack with the tray, and they break it again. So I know Jarbo is over there constantly trading out glass, but it just continues to break.
If we're dealing with inmates that's that violent, Is it a medical issue? They're not getting the medication they need? I mean, someone go in there and start tearing things off the wall, there's something wrong with this person.
Well,
that's the people we have in there. But you
can't force
can't
them to take
neglect it.
But we need, a lot of them will need medications they may not be getting. That's what I'm coming at.
You can't make them take medication.
And it may not be medication, it may be coming off of a imitated medication, man-made. All medication is man-made, but you know what I'm saying? They're high, they're coming down off of highs, they're going cold turkey. You know, it's all these things you throw into there, it's not just.
But you can't let it, you know, it's gonna deteriorate to the point that everybody's gonna start screaming, we want a new jail. We can't have a new jail, we can't afford a
Would it be
new
okay
jail.
if my sources actually spent, my architectural agency firms that actually deal with penitentiary type, to see where they're sourcing their glass from?
Yeah, if you can find some. The problem is it's extremely expensive, but that's what I've been told by our jail inspector.
Then what's the other option?
Yeah, there's no other. I mean, the other option is just taking the windows out and just letting it be open. It's only small, they can't get through it, but that's the only other option that we've discussed, and I don't think that's a good option. Again, the doors are so old that they'll fall apart too. So it's just an old jail that needs a lot of attention.
Well, that's what I'm addressing. That's what it needs. And it's you know, you go to maintenance issues.
No, it's
What
taking the window out.
is have our boilers? Do you have a schedule for cleaning the boilers now that it's summertime?
Cleaning the what?
The boilers? For
Boilers?
the heat?
That's a question for our maintenance director.
You're the maintenance director's boss.
Yes.
You need to find out.
And he's doing a good job.
Well, I understand that. I agree with that.
And
He's got his
I'm going to
hands
tell you
full.
one thing right now, Tim. If I have to follow him around with a
I'm not saying follow
clipboard
him
all the
around.
time,
Give
we
him
don't
a
need it.
schedule.
And he's the type of guy that we don't have to watch every minute.
Give him a schedule. We need to know, are these boilers taken care of? Is the pH monitored in them weekly? Is the continuity of the water, is that monitored weekly?
We have a contract with a service
I'm just
provider
asking
that
you, is
takes
it?
care of all that stuff for us.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it done?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
What about the trim around the top of the courthouse? You ever going to do anything with that?
Yeah.
When?
Can't give you an exact day.
I didn't figure it's been that way for, what,
Yeah.
2 years?
There's a long list of items that needs to be taken care of around here, and at the end of the day, it's all about money. Now, we can come to you for an additional appropriation of, say, $1 million. You're going to be
Oh,
able
it
to
ain't
come
gonna
up
take $1
with it?
million to do that. You know, we got to get, the maintenance has to be done.
Well, we're doing the best we can with the amount of money
My
we
opinion,
have.
it's not good
And
enough.
there ain't nothing I hate any worse than coming to this body and asking for more money.
We had to rebuild the recorder's office because of a bird's nest in the gutter. We got the gutters cleaned?
Yes.
I think what you might be saying, Dale, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, is that this is, you don't think it's personal, current commissioner, this is an ongoing problem from years back. Do we have a maintenance schedule in place for some of these buildings that are older, that are neglected, that have gone kind of, you know, we fix a problem, we think we're good to go, we move on. And that's always been my concern with this women's work release, that we've never had, to my knowledge, a plan in place as to what is the next step. What do we fix next? What's high on the priority list? I think if we had a list like that to go to, you know, whether it's a spreadsheet or something that says, this is our next concern. We're just going out there, don't put issue not, you know, HVAC.
Predictive maintenance.
That's all I think that he's asking for. It would be good for the council for budgeting in the future for what our future needs are for building costs and maintenance. Rather than all of a sudden that, well, padded rooms all tore up, we gotta go to, you know, Biloxi, Mississippi to get our all the parts, and it's 6 months to get it taken care of. And that's a big job. It's a big job to put it together, but it's something that probably really needs to be done.
Sure it does. And you just, the sheriff could tell you better than I could the difficulties that he's had in getting people to just come and do these things. And if they won't answer the phone when he calls, they're sure not going to answer the phone when I call.
You have to bug them. You have to call daily.
Well,
Do it all the time. Looking for quotes.
Dale, would it be possible to get someone to give us a bid on fixing the courthouse? Fixing the windows and everything that you've talked about, things need to be done. Could we get somebody to give us a bid on that?
the windows in the courthouse?
Well, the exterior work needs to be done to the courthouse.
Oh, yes.
So you said it's dangerous, bricks are loose and things like that.
Well, just last week, I talked to a representative from the Wells Masonry Company located over here at New Palestine.
Okay, good.
They're currently doing a tuck point job at St. Gabriel's Church.
Okay.
And I talked to these guys about that. They're experienced in what they do, and they're very expensive too. I think it would be a good idea for us to at least have them come and give us a quote on doing the part of our building that needs to be done. Matter of fact, that's one of the things we forgot to talk about today, Dale. We always forget something. But that's a good example of, I do pay attention to these things, although I don't, you don't get a daily report on me of what I did today, So
Back to the jail, they got numerous cameras out. Why? Why do they have to put up with it?
well,
The plan of security, some things I think should be discussed in a forum like this.
well, you will never hear me talk about security in a private or in a public meeting. It's just not a smart thing to do.
You can't discuss cameras
Well, I
that are
think,
malfunctioning. You can't discuss cameras that are malfunctioning. It's been malfunctioning for quite some time.
I
Can't
have to
discuss
agree
that?
with Dale on that. I don't think that's something that needs to be,
the reason is
People-
you let inmates know
yeah.
what,
Asking too much.
what and where potential weaknesses are, setting up something for potentially dangerous for them.
All of the important cameras work.
That's right. That's right.
But I think that's a good question, again, maybe to have one-on-one with the department head and maybe Dale.
What about buying all of our consumables in bulk? Office supplies, other supplies that I see. I come up with about $250,000 worth. I know you can buy it at least 20%.
I'd be
That's $40,000.
I'd be interested in seeing your research on that.
Get me what we spent, what we use from all the departments. Get me all the departments, what they use, and I'll get you a price.
Well, you can look at your budget and see what you
Well,
appropriate.
the budget doesn't say what it is. We got to know what it is.
Okay.
Copy paper, toners, notepad, ink pen, everything they use. And let's buy it once a year. We can save the county, I know, probably 40 grand. Is that a bad thing to do?
No, it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, you can
Maybe
store it
that's
right there in the
something-
jail basement and it can be,
Maybe that's something that the finance committee could get together and see what we could come up with to kind of give him an amount if we can get this itemized, because that's what we discussed at the finance.
I can get you quotes,
Okay.
but I gotta know what you're buying.
Well, we've not, we sat here and crap all night about things not being perfect. They never will be perfect. But the thing about it, we can get a bid on fixing the courthouse. We can have the sheriff, things that need to be done in his jail and see what's gonna cost. Whether we can do it or not, it's gonna be according to the budget and everything, but let's just take one step at a time.
You gotta look at it.
Well, we can look at it, Tim, but we can't do 10,000 things at one time. You're shotgunning things. We're trying to get things specific, what we need to do. The jail and the courthouse are major items right now to be taken care of. And as far as buying goods and stuff, that's going to be discussed outside of council.
I've got a question, kind of for the sheriff and Dale. I just observed something today. I don't know if it's an issue or not. It looks like to me it's going to be an issue. The space between the jail and the new facility, they're going to have to transfer the food. Is that right, Zach?
Yeah. Me and Dell have talked about that. At some point, we're going to have to probably get some sort of gate or fence and get permission from the city to close that off.
Yeah, because what about
Also,
the weather? And I was just thinking, because I was talking to him, they were going to have to transfer food over there on carts, and as it is now, it's no way you can run a cart across there, and it's going to get rained on.
I would assume that they're going to fix that. I don't know. I would assume that they're going to repave that because they tore it up pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, when it snows, we have somebody out there shoveling to get us back and forth because it's a logistic nightmare, but we'll make it work.
Guess you need some kind of
Awning or something.
something, yeah.
Okay,
Let's move on.
well, good seeing everybody. And Tim, you forward your request to us, and we will try and do our best to give it ample.
I appreciate
attention,
it.
Okay,
Thank you, Dale.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to transfers, additionals, and reductions. Additional appropriation to statewide 911 account 40400 for equipment. Hey, Kelly.
Hi. I think on the equipment, we established that, didn't we, last time on the 4,400, Jane? Was that included in the additional today? In the equipment line?
Oh, it's going into the equipment line, yeah, the
Okay, I thought we were still having that as established. Hi, everybody. So I'm revisiting tonight. From the last time I was here, we had some better communications and more education on what the combiner for the radio of 800s do. I feel that I also did not give out all the information that I could have to educate better to say how vital that part is, that we have it. So here I am again tonight, asking for my $71.45 for the combiner to use it to do the replacement of the other combiner that's already on the radio system that needs to be replaced.
I'll give a first on it. Provide the motion on that to allow 911 to get the combiner.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that will be in the amount of $7,145. Okay.
Okay, guys, well, thank you. And did you all get my email on the invitation to
Yes.
come to dispatch?
When did you send it?
Well, it was like a couple of weeks back, I believe.
Well,
'Cause
like 2 weeks back.
Yep. So, but anytime, just let me know and you can come over and tour the facility. I didn't include Kay because we don't want her back over there. I'm just teasing. No, she's already been over there a thousand
We
times.
can understand that, okay.
Yeah, so just come
I
on
would
over.
encourage everybody to go over there though, because to understand what they go through and see how it works.
Well, but I still like to take everybody like in the basement where all of our new stuff's at, how it operates, and it'd be a great day to do that. So just come over anytime.
I've been taking the basement.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, next, there would be the additional appropriation to County General Fund 1,000 for Superior Court, account 30031 for an interpreter. Hello, Judge Freed.
Hello. So, I think I had asked for, at the time of the annual budget process, asked for 5,000 for interpretation, and they got cut to 2,500, which I didn't oppose. I'm not upset about that. I know we have to balance the budget to send it in. But I told you at the time, didn't think that was going to make it. I thought 5,000 was a good number. It appears that that is the case because we've already spent that 2,500 and we're not yet to the, well, almost, but not quite to the midpoint of the year. Plus, I had already transferred $1,000 from the public defender's fee previously to pay a bill that exceeded the annual appropriation. And we've spent that, and that's why I'm asking for the additional appropriation to pay the bill that is presently outstanding plus the 6 months and 26 days we have left in the year for interpreters.
You think that'll cover it, Paul?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
I'll second it.
What language is this for? Spanish?
Mostly, yeah, Spanish certainly dominates typically, but in the first half of the year we had a rash of deaf persons. So it's ASL.
Are you seeing it go up?
Yeah, oh yeah. I think it's going to go up more too. The current interpretation I'm getting from state court administration training is, and we've never had a request like this, but a couple things that we never, it used to be in the old days, judges would just, if they needed a Spanish interpreter, they'd go over to the Mexican restaurant, get a busboy, bring him over here, have him fill out a claim for $50 or something, and he was glad to have it. And okay, those days, let me tell you something, are over. There's all new standards now for interpretation, the qualifications for these interpreters that have to be met. I sat through an hour-long lecture on this from state court administration. You can't just hire anybody, even if they're a native speaker of the language and they've been here in this country for 20 years. You'd think they could interpret between the two languages, but no, it's not good. They either have the certification or they do not.
So what's the fee for a guilty lenient interpreter versus a innocent lenient interpreter?
I don't, you know, they don't categorize themselves like that. Guilty person.
How's drug court going?
Good, good, good. It's going good. Yeah, we're doing well, moving them through. The only problem with drug court remains that it's not big enough. But we've got a new person and we're accelerating, hoping to expand the number of participants, which we definitely need to do. But on the interpretation too, just to give you some forewarning, as I said, we have to hire these people with these certifications. They're not around here. They're all traveling, so they all want to put a surcharge on for travel. You know, nothing I can do about that. We are where we are. On top of that, now they're saying the new standards say the interpreter is not to interpret for more than an hour at a time. So very seldom do I have a hearing that needs interpretation that lasts for longer than an hour. But if it does, if we go to trial with one of these people, I'm supposed to have 2 interpreters. Because the standards require that the interpreter gets a break. So they have to tag in and out. A for an hour, B for an hour, A for an hour, B for an hour. So now we have a trial or a long hearing, double the bill. I have 2 certified interpreters standing there all day, or 2 days, or 3 days, or however long it lasts. Then on top of that, they're also telling us now, due to ADA standards and open access to court standards, combined interpretation, is that if there's somebody in the gallery that wants an interpreter, I have to provide that. And you have to pay for that too.
Well, the simplest solution is get a judge in those 10 languages.
Yeah, I'll start working on that in my free time. So that I don't have any of that right now, but all that could occur.
That'll kill the budget, send you to school for that.
If we had a trial or a long civil hearing, any kind of long on-the-record matter with someone needing an interpreter, it's going to be expensive.
So 3,500 is going to,
I think it'll get me through the year, I'm hoping, unless we have a rash.
I'll make a motion, we pass the additional appropriation.
I thought we already had a motion on the floor.
We already did?
There was, we just
Yeah,
haven't voted.
I'm sorry.
yeah, we just haven't voted yet.
All right,
Okay.
Okay, that's
Mike,
right.
you made the first, right?
yeah.
And
Okay, seconded.
Bob seconded, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So moved. Thank you, Judge Freed. Additional appropriation to County General Fund 1,000 Emergency Management, account 20210 for gas, oil, and diesel, $923. Hi, Wade.
Hi. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
So I'm down to $7.66 in my fuel budget. I think you guys, originally my budget was maybe $750 for the year. I travel a little bit more than that. I respond to a few more calls than what that was capable of lasting. So I do believe that my current request will get me through 99% of the rest of the year. That's pending if we have something that's major that I'm traveling back and forth a lot for. For example, I went to provide mutual aid in Franklin County for the tornadoes that went through there. So I was working with their EMA director doing door-to-door damage assessments. If something like that was to happen here and I'm out, I'll burn through fuel quicker. But for the most part, to this point, my original appropriations lasted me till the middle of the year, which is, I believe, what the council thought would happen.
Motion so moved.
Second.
Okay, Kay second. All in favor? Aye. So moved. Okay. All right, and the next is transfer from the Animal Shelter Donation Fund 4102, account 30502, remodeling costs, to account 20290, supplies, in the amount of $8,500.
You got two of those, Sharon.
Okay, yeah, and then transfer from the Animal Shelter Donation Fund 4102, account 30502, remodeling costs, to account 20290, supplies, in the amount of $1,350.
That's a simple transfer, right?
Yeah, just transfer, that's all we need. Thank
Are
goodness.
you almost done?
Yes, the floor pretty well got done today, but they gotta come back and do a little cleaning up to do. So we're gonna let it sit over the weekend, and I'm gonna start setting up on, hopefully by next week we can get it. Then, so we can open, get a grand open here scheduled up, so all of you. Well, you all can come up there and look at it.
Do you have a date in mind for the grand opening?
I told Dale hopefully within the 2 weeks area, so we can try to get it done. And as I was talking about a plaque, I got the plaque that we're going to hang up. It says Fayette County Animal Shelter in appreciation of our generous donations of $250 or more on this one here. Like Urban Enterprises, you know, that we had a grant for $75,000, and like Daniel Girls, they donated $300, and then we had Janet Ball, the one that did $17,500. I got my wife's name on here, but she don't know how much we donated. I'm not going to say it. Then we had Combs Flooring. It says $9,000 here, but they did $9,500 donation to the building on the labor. And we got the commissioners on there for letting us have the building. So that's what I got right now. So still got room for other people if you want to donate here for $250 or more.
I make a motion that we allow the transfer of $950 to the animal.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, there's no 144s, and old business, there's none. On new business, we have compliance resolution for Falmouth Farm Supply. That would be Jolissa Bates. Hello.
How are y'all?
Good.
It's been a year, I believe, since I have been here on the compliance resolution. Jane has the resolution for you. And basically what it is the county has one participant in the tax abatement that they oversee, and that is Falmouth Farm Supply. They did send in their CF1 form. It was a timely filing, and they are in compliance. In fact, they're doing a lot better than what they had originally stated, which is kudos to them and, you know, great for the county as far as that goes. So I am here asking for the council to approve the resolution stating that they are in compliance. This will actually be their last year for their personal property and for their real estate that they receive an abatement, since it was a 3-year abatement.
Make a motion to pass the resolution.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes,
you don't have anything, I have a couple items.
okay.
One more thing.
Well, yes, the only thing we have to finish is the dates for budget hearings
Oh,
suggested are August 13th and 14th and September 17th for adoption.
So moved.
So moved, okay.
Will 2 days be enough?
No.
I hope so.
Okay,
2 days for the hearings.
the budget hearings would start August, the 13th and 14th are normally the 2 days that we would meet with all the department heads. And then after that, we continue those until, like, whichever extra days. I only have to advertise the first day of that. So August 13th would be the date that I would be putting on Gateway. And then September 17th for the adoption.
What are those days, honey? The 13th and 14th?
I want to say it's a Tuesday and a Wednesday.
Tuesday and
We
Wednesday.
typically do.
Yes, it's a Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. Which is kind of what we've done. I just went by what we've done in the past years. It does not have to be those days, but.
That's fine. Just put them off on our calendars.
Okay. So, make a motion to accept
Yeah.
those dates.
I'll second it. Motion for it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So moved. Now, Mike, if you want to go
Okay.
ahead.
Is Kathy Holbert in here?
No.
No, okay. She took over for Cord Coyle as coroner when he really couldn't function more due to some health issues, obviously. And since his passing, she's filled in admirably, no complaints, nothing from her. But she's taken on the full role of the coroner's responsibility in that time, yet she only gets paid $150 a case. Whether the case lasts a day, a week, a month, 3 months, she's the face of the county and having to deal with that family. And I'd like to propose that she get the compensated salary that maybe had been issued to court. And if I'm saying this wrong, Jane, correct me. But that would just be my recommendation, that she's basically fulfilling his duties. And will have to do so until our newly elected coroner, Eddie Richardson, can take control, because until he gets his training in September, she's the only person in the coroner's office that can handle cases on a one-on-one basis.
She's the only one capable, absolutely.
Yes. So I'd like to see her get compensated somehow. That would be my recommendation.
Are you asking for that to be retroactive to when she took over?
Yes.
And what are you asking again?
For Kathy to receive Ford's salary because she has been doing his job since
Okay.
he,
But
since
she's
he
not an
got sick.
employee, and there is no employee position, so you would have to create a position, and then we'd have to like approve like a 144 to make her a part-time employee. Like, we can't just say we're gonna give her court salary.
So she's being paid, but
And you're-
she's being paid as a consultant now.
Yes, she's an independent
So why
contractor,
don't
she's
you
not
just,
an employee.
why don't you just make that?
Can we do that?
Yeah, why
Just
don't
like
you
do
make
a
that
contract
number-
or something?
Make
Okay.
that number match what his salary does. You see what I'm saying?
And then the new guy gets the salary starting, he was elected Saturday.
He
So
takes
they're-
over. Then
Now.
she goes back to one, or,
As soon as he's elected, he starts getting paid. No.
oh, yeah.
So,
So the only money that would be available from, left over from court would from when court's death until
Right.
Saturday.
And see, that's one thing I was concerned about, and that's what I told Jane, because if Kathy quit today, there's no one that is qualified to take over that position, because until he gets his training in September. So, after Saturday, I hadn't talked to anyone about it, but, we'd be in a bad spot, because
She's also helping Union County too.
Yeah.
You know,
she has done a wonderful job. She has 15 years experience. So,
Do we have any other deputy coroners, Jane?
no.
So the auditor, as always, is asking phenomenal questions over here. It's my understanding the newly elected gentleman is not certified to perform the duties yet.
No.
right.
So he's going to be making more money than the person that's actually doing the
That's
duties.
training
Right.
him.
So, in my opinion, you should entertain, and I'd hate to ever ask you guys to spend more money, but you should entertain an additional appropriation to this account.
That was my
and
point.
At least pay her the same that he's getting paid when she's I mean, she saved us from a pickle.
And like through September, like as long as she has to do
Yeah.
these
Right,
duties,
right.
right? Yes.
And she doesn't have to do this, and she's not
Right.
complaining. Her and I talked day one when court passed that morning. He passed. So, I mean, if that's what it takes to make a position,
Okay, so I'm gonna go back. So then your motion is going to be to pay her the equivalent of his gross salary from now until the new coroner can take over.
can we make it retroactive to when
When he passed.
To when she started it, yes.
well, he could, even before he passed, he was incapacitated, he couldn't work.
No, he worked up until,
Did he?
he was in this yes, he was in this courthouse the week before he died.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
So you're
Okay.
saying from death until Mr. Richardson's able to be certified and take over the
Yeah,
position,
it's something.
which will require an additional appropriation at some point in time, because you'll be essentially paying both people.
And what's that amount gonna be, Jane?
I would have to
Probably
look it
doesn't
up.
know it now.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get this typed up to exactly how you wanted it. So council want to move to reimburse Kathy over the acting coroner.
While she's doing that, I want to catch you up on something that she also, I misspoke earlier because I was just in the zone. The tax needs to have, we need to have that approved before September 1, and it's an odd one, and it actually takes effect October 1 of this year.
Right.
So if as long as it's passed between December 31st of last year and September 1 of this year, then it takes effect October 1st of this year. So I would encourage you guys, we're on that path, and I could have just brought this up in July, but I want to make sure you guys weren't led astray for a month, and I apologize about misspeaking.
My recommendation would be to have a second meeting and get it done.
Well, if you do it in July, you're good. You don't have any issues.
Well, I'm more concerned about vacation.
What we do don't make any difference anyways, because it's gonna pass.
Right. But you don't, we don't want to, I don't want you to think this can be another handful of months, no big deal. July is perfectly on schedule, but I wouldn't extend it beyond that. But if you want to have a special meeting, certainly that's within
Do you recommend we do that right at the beginning of the meeting?
Yes.
Because people want to go home. James, if we get, okay to go on with my second topic.
We need a second and a vote on
Okay.
the motion on the floor.
Okay.
So did you already make it an official?
Yeah, I made a motion to
I'll second.
what James said.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Now can I move to yours? Okay. So we know the state passed unanimously the public safety tax that I brought up back in 2015, to remedy the situation that they're currently experiencing. Since Jane is shrewd as she is, not so shrewd, that sounds kind of conniving, as efficient as she is, she's discovered that the volunteer fire departments, and I'll recuse myself from voting on this because I am a member of the volunteer fire department, but speaking from a position of knowledge of the Everton Fire Department, my recommendation would be that we give them, it's not a full 10%, but I would say, if in fact it's true that the volunteer fire departments come to the head of the line, they're not getting compensated for men, but they've got the same requirements as the city does as far as every 10 years, their SCBA's got to be exchanged and so forth. Helmets got to be changed. Even if there's nothing wrong with them, they've got to be changed by law. Their turnout gear has to be changed by law. I know Everton's in a situation where most of the firefighters got all the same turnout gear at the same time. That's a huge hit. And these guys are fundraising like crazy to get their equipment to help pay for gas. We do give, council gives each one $5,000 for tree services, down trees, because they can get to it much quicker, get them cleared much quicker than the county can typically. We're not paying, what, time and a half or triple time, double time, whatever, for people to go out there and do this stuff. So my recommendation, if it is in fact true what Jane says, that the volunteer firefighters come to the table first, that out of our portion, we give 5 and the city gives 5. It's not a true 10%, it's a 9 point something or other percentage, but that's, I think Jane's projection was at 1.5 and this Adam character was like 1.2 or something like that, 1.1. So either way, if 10%, that's $110,000 if I did my math right, or roughly 100, 140 to be split equally among the 3 departments, or however they work it out. Because I don't know, Gail, you can tell me. Does Glenwood get money? Does Rushville have a public safety tax in place?
They have a tax, and I don't believe it's called a public safety, but they were working at, what was it, 30,000 per department is what they were talking, but I don't know that it's been approved.
So we'd be about in line with that, a little bit more, because it means like these guys are burning. When you go to a pancake dinner or a breakfast or a fish fry or a pork chop dinner or whatever these different departments do, Everton's heavily involved in a lot of fundraising, fish tournaments, this and that, derbies. That's time away from their families, not including time away from their families that they're fighting fires or extricating somebody from a vehicle or transporting somebody to the hospital. And then that we also, I think we should take a percentage of ours and dedicate it to 911 to help that situation as well too.
Mike, I'm not disagreeing with you, but isn't that something that has to come from city council, since they're the ones that's wagging the tail on this thing?
The commissioners have to work that out with them. I mean, that's not necessarily us. We work with the commissioners on our side, but I think we should strongly encourage it. I don't know exactly what that means, that the fire departments can come first before everybody to the head of the line.
I agree with you, Mike, but they're the ones, what we do makes no difference.
No. You're going to get, there's a 57-43% split. You're going to have 100% say in what you do with the 43%.
We'll end up paying both ends of it.
That's what they want.
I don't know what that means, but you'll have full access to the 43%, and you'll be able to spend that however you want. What he's asking for is for the city and the county to come together and both agree to give up, to just go ahead and
All we can do is recommend it at this point.
Right. No, you can do whatever you want with your 43%.
Right, we can't do anything with what the city's doing, but with our 43%, we could say we're gonna give, regardless of what the city agrees to.
We can recommend it to the city. That's about all we can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that some people in the city will say, well, we got more manpower, this and that. Well, we're contributing half to EMS. We are covering all of, we split the animal shelter. We're covering a good chunk of 911. We got the sheriff's department, we got the jail staff. Am I missing something, Jane?
Operator and IT,
No, that doesn't cover it.
that we split.
I'm talking about this thing we cover in our public safety tax.
I think that it would make sense to have a discussion, and I think that the city would be receptive to having those meetings, so I would set those up.
I know that was a concern of Javen's last night.
Yeah. I think if you had, a couple council members, a commissioner, and then, a couple city council members, and all have a discussion that makes sense over the next month.
Okay.
I'd like to be on that discussion.
Well, you're the boss, Apple boss. You're the boss, you make a decision, who sits on there.
Well, I want to be a part of that.
I would like to as well, if it's okay, with the rest of the council.
Yes. Okay. All right, is that end of discussion?
Yes, I don't know.
I make a mild motion for adjournment.
Second. Okay, well, do we have anyone here that, we had some visitors, did anyone have anything they needed to discuss?
I just got one thing I want to talk about.
Okay,
It affects everybody in this room. Not only if you're a veteran, first responder, but also family members. I know because I talk to family members all the time. There's all kinds of months, and there's all kinds of list of what month it is. Well, this month is PTSD month. I have it. There's people in this room that have it. There's people in this room that don't know that they have it, but they have it. But it is not a weakness to talk about it. It is not a weakness to ask for help. It's actually a sign of strength. So, myself, and there's a lot of other people involved that can help you, that can help others. Unfortunately, I see it every day when I look in the mirror. But I also see it every day when I look across the table. And some of the things that I hear. But I just want to put it out there that it is PTSD Awareness Month. But understand that PTSD is something that, it's a reaction to something. So somebody can come off and seem upset or almost to the point of violence or something that they're breaking down or they're depressed or they just completely fall apart on you. That's a sign of that. It's anxiety, it's depression, it's schizophrenia. It's all those things. Military sexual trauma or sexual traumas, all of that falls under that umbrella. So at some point, all of us in our families or extended families or friends have felt that or seen it or touched it. So just keep that in an awareness piece that it is something that we can help. I'm willing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You call me and I will help them, regardless what it is. If it's a brother or a sister, they're more willing to talk to somebody that's a brother or sister that has gone through it. Even though we may not know, we've gone through it. It's the same thing for any of you, okay? But it is important that we do have the discussions and that we are aware of it. How many of you have gone to the recorder's office this month? If you haven't, you need to go in there and see what we did. It was one idea that transformed Memorial Day into what you see in there. There are hundreds of years hanging on the wall.
It's beautiful.
There's a Korea War Army uniform. There's a female Marine uniform in there. There's a Navy E6 uniform from a submariner that's a Vietnam vet. There's an Air Force uniform in there that's somebody that's a Gulf War vet. And we also got one from the Coast Guard. I'm looking for the Merchant Marine in town, so there is one. But there's hundreds of years hanging on the wall, and that was one person's idea. And it just morphed into it. But Bev Giselle, that's her dad's uniform hanging in there. And he was a Korea War vet. So I would like to see more of that happen. I would like to do more here in the courthouse and hang stuff, pictures. If you know of any, you've got some, whatever it is. My office, same thing. But everybody talks about, oh, it's all about the veterans, it's all about the veterans, it's all about the veterans, right? Until that day's over. Then where do we go, right? So this town used to be full of pride and full of things that we had. There was a red stripe painted down the street when I was in high school here. I'd like to see that again. So businesses, things of that nature. I have a lot of business owners that help. Ms. Cranfield is a huge help in getting and allowing me to use her vehicle to transport veterans to and from the VA for their appointments. So, and other people have been nothing but supportive. You were in, so nothing but supportive, and I appreciate all of it. But just understand there's a lot of people, and including you guys. If you guys need help, I have experience in it and stuff like that, so I'm willing to help you, okay? Or anybody that you know of. So, but just a mind thing about PTSD Awareness Month too.
thank you, Ron. Thank you for all you do for the veterans here too.
And family members, don't forget
And
that.
family members, absolutely.
Motion on the floor to adjourn, just a second.
Okay, did you make the motion?
Yes.
Okay, did someone second it? Kay seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.